Hey guys, like, comment, subscribe. Doing another MLB video again, looking at the New York Mets, looking at mainly from the perspective of the offseason itself. Really, the question of did the New York Mets have a successful offseason? And I think this is kind of a two-way question in terms of where you could go with it, because on one end, obviously they didn't sign names like Trevor Bauer and George Springer, but at the same time, they brought in some big names, obviously, in that Lindor trade, Lindor being the highlight himself and a solid pitcher, obviously bringing in Taijuan Walker, who's another solid guy right now. But right in the middle, too, you have the Jared Porter scandal, which potentially ruined some of those plans. So the Mets, again, it's one of those situations where you could really look at this from any perspective, but I think the overall way to look at this offseason is that, yes, it actually was a success because going into any offseason, the goal should be to make your team better for the next season. And that's what the Mets did. Even with all the drama, even with the players they lost out on between Bauer, Springer, even guys like Brad Hand and a couple of other players linked there they didn't end up getting, this team still got better and they retained pretty much all the players that they had to and needed to continue the success of this team moving forward. So I would be very pleased as a Mets fan moving on, honestly. Like, again, that Porter situation is obviously very questionable. He looked like he was very promising with that Lindor trade. And then you have to wonder why Steve Cohen and company even bring him on. And then shortly after, they get rid of Matz, which maybe makes people think, oh, like maybe they're giving up a bit in terms of what they think they could do. But overall, the moves they did showed that clearly not only are they looking to compete right now, but they're looking to compete for the long term because there's a lot of young guys there who, again, they're looking to keep around and they didn't get rid of when they probably could have to make more room for guys, offer them a bit more money, and kind of force them to go in there alone. I mean, if they moved on from a guy like Dominic Smith, Michael Conforto, Jeff McNeil, etc., there might have been more room for a guy like George Springer to actually go there. Versus he looks at that lineup and not knowing if there's going to be a DH spot or not, it probably left some question marks in his head. Trevor Bauer, I mean, a whole different story. He just wanted an extremely odd contract, and who knows what the Mets were willing to do. Obviously, they were speaking about him getting some type of close to record-setting deal in terms of the actual year value, just not obviously as long as a guy like Garrett Cole. But overall, again, I still look at this offseason. I see a team that got better. I see a team that's going to compete next year. And I think no matter where you look at the Mets in terms of the starting rotation, the bullpen, the starting lineup, the outfield, the infield, the catcher spot, I didn't even mention James McCann in terms of the offseason pickups. There's a lot of very good players there. And the addition of Walker just continues that trend where if you look at those pitchers 1 through 5, they're all solid names. Obviously, DeGrom, Syndergaard, Stroman, the aforementioned, and then as well Yamamoto. You have 5 guys there who all are definitely MLB caliber pitchers. And obviously, Yamamoto's had some issues, but again, he's had some early games in his career where he looks solid. So as a Mets fan, not much saying I am one, just saying in general, looking at it as a Mets fan, you have to be happy, I would say, with this offseason because it was a success. You got better, and you'll probably be able to make the playoffs this year and for years moving forward as well, even with some other good teams in that division, like the Nationals, I believe the Phillies as well. But I mean, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you soon with some more content.